We haven't talked in a little while, man. What
It's
you
been a
been up
minute,
to?
especially. I mean, we've texted a few times, but we haven't really talked. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Work is going like you seem to be way busier with work, right? Like for a while there, you were somewhat not not busy, but it seemed like you had more time. I don't know, and now I can see that you've been engaged in like a lot more shit and more projects.
Oh yeah.
Are you
No, that's
enjoying
for
it?
sure. I love it. I love it. So it's like again, it's me just managing over lots of projects that I know a lot of stuff,
Yeah,
but not all the details. So it's nice to have that bigger picture, holistic view of how things work together, and that's what I do. So I enjoy it. But before that, months ago, 6 months ago or whatever, it was just trying to find my place still, and I
yeah.
found my place, and I found what I'm good at there, and I think people appreciate what I have to offer. So it's good.
Yeah,
Can't
it's
beat
good
it.
to hear. Oh, that's awesome. How was Colombia?
Dude,
Besides,
Colombia was amazing.
right?
We went to Cartagena, which is on the northwest side, but well, by the Caribbean, but on the
Yeah,
north side of Colombia. Colombia's big. It's bigger than
yeah,
it's bigger than I would have thought. Like, oh, Colombia's like the size of like a couple of states. It's pretty big.
yeah,
Probably take you 30 hours to go from north end to the south end. Like it's just like
yeah.
the United States almost. Most of the roads aren't as good, so like it takes a little bit longer.
Yeah, I
But
think I think that's a lot of it. Like the infrastructure is probably not as fluid. But like, man, I would love to go. Like, every single person I know that has been tells me the same thing that you told me. That is just freaking great. I'm gonna
it,
make it happen this year.
is Mexico like the rest? Because I've been to Costa Rica and Colombia.
Right. I know where you're going.
Is Mexico like the driving the same way? Like Costa Rica driving is nuts. Colombia driving was even crazier. Is Mexico like that? Like we're like there's just like nobody really gives a shit about the rules of the road.
Yeah. So. Um, it's kind of the same, right? Like, I guess it's like if you ask someone how's driving in the US, and if you ask someone from New York City and someone from Oklahoma, right? Like, completely different
Yeah.
experiences. So the same in Mexico. Like, driving in Mexico City is true madness. Uh, it's actually madness in all over the country. What am I
But
trying to
New
say?
York City though, compared to Colombia, it was nothing. like
Yeah,
I like don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. It was like a free ride. It was a free entertainment ride for me. Like it was like a not a roller coaster, but it was free entertainment. I'm like, dude, these guys are fucking nuts.
yeah.
And like New York City, yeah, it's just stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. But it's not like, dude, these people are just they don't give a shit.
Well, dude, like, I have a story about that, but when I was taking my uh, two things. When I was taking my driver's license test, I took it 3 times, right, in Oklahoma, and it was weird because I didn't have a car either. So like I had to, I didn't know people, so I had to make friends that would let me borrow their car, which
Oh wow.
it was weird. Um, but and there's some really good stories behind that later. But the point is, DJ ended up loaning me his car eventually. Um, and on the first time, I failed because I didn't use my directionals. And the thing is, in Mexico, no one ever like it's not a thing. And even when I go back and I use them like with my friends, like now I use them on automatic. They're like, "Oh, dude, you're such a freaking foreigner." Yeah, they give me shit about that. The second time was that I didn't stop at a stop sign, and it's not that I didn't stop. It's just that I slowed down enough, and I didn't see cars coming.
yeah.
So like I just kept going. I even figured like if I stop completely, this guy is gonna think that I'm overreacting and like whatever. No. So immediately I failed, obviously. But then
Oh
I told
damn.
him I'm sorry about that. Like it's my first time taking the test, and we don't have those in Mexico. Like we don't have the stop signs in Mexico City. Well, sure enough, when I go back to Mexico City, they're fucking everywhere. They say alto, but there's the same in the red sign and everything. It's just you don't pay attention to them at all. And so they were. I thought that they were not there.
What's up? Oh yeah. Oh, you can. You want me to? I can take these off. You can hear. Yeah, we're talking about driving in Mexico City versus United States
Yeah,
and Colombia.
you're
Oh
good.
yeah.
Uh, you're good with audio, with your setup, with everything. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And our Jen just came in. She heard me say "oh damn" a couple times. She was like, "What's going on?" I'm like,
Okay, okay,
live stream that shit on Facebook. You'll
okay.
be able to find out. Add to the metrics. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, man.
India would be bad.
Oh, dude,
India.
I'm telling you, like, it was just, it's to that level that I grew up thinking that we didn't have those signs, but they're everywhere. It's just like I literally thought we didn't have them because when I used to drive back in Mexico, you just don't pay attention to that. And now when I go back, my dad is 76, 77, I think,
Oh, wow.
and
Yeah.
I get really nervous driving with him, not because of his age, but because he drives like a
Jesus.
freaking maniac, like everyone does. My sister, man, like my sister almost gives me a heart attack. And I mean, I used to drive to school, in high school. There's no way I could do it now. Like it's important. Like I get like cardiac arrest. I get so
But
nervous.
did you need a license though to drive in Mexico City?
Yeah, but dude, it's not like here. Like you go,
You can
you
reach the pedals and you're
pretty
coherent. You're good to
much,
go.
pretty much. There's a test that I think I don't know if it's like this anymore. Like I'm sure it's changed. It's 11 years, but I think there was a test, and it was kind of a not a difficult test, but like the U.S. test. Like you do have to read it, and I
Yeah.
think we ended up like passing like 200 pesos or something ridiculous, which is like $10 for me to just not even take the test. That it was like, oh, we don't even have time for you to waste doing it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you get that. So it's a different world, man. Just
There were no accidents. We didn't see a single accident. We were there for 10 days, and we went through Cartagena, Santa Marta, and Barranquilla, which are all three big cities. Never seen an accident. And like,
dude, it
dude,
works. It works. And,
it was
and the
definitely
thing,
working.
yeah, the thing is it's not that it's so much more primitive. It's not even that. It's just different. When my parents come
Yeah.
here, they get very stressed with the way people in America drive. And like I get it because it used to happen to me. I'm like, why are all these people maintaining all this distance and like why are they going so fast in the highway? Like it's just different. It's weird for sure. But
Yeah, it's totally just different culture. That's it.
yeah,
I think. But
yeah,
there was a lot of poverty though in Colombia. Like, and I can't speak for Mexico. I've never been to Mexico, but a lot of poverty, like a shit ton of poverty. And I know there's like homeless people in America and blah blah. I've been to Denver and like Las Vegas or San Diego and just random. Boston has a lot of poverty, but the poverty was different in Colombia because we saw it as poverty, but it was like that was a normal life, like for a lot of people.
yeah,
But everybody worked. It wasn't like they were poverty, and they weren't bums. They weren't like American bums.
right.
They weren't. They were all trying to hustle and sell stuff. They were all working. They just didn't have a home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very much like that in Mexico. I think like it's just it's weird.
Lucky.
It's weird to explain it, man. But it's that I think that I didn't see it when I first was in the U.S. and once I graduated and you start kind of getting more into the real world, I realized like it's just easier here. It's just more. You don't even have to try in the U.S. really. Like you have your college degree and you can find a job pretty easy, man. Like Mexico, you gotta hustle a little bit. Like
Damn.
it's
Yeah, no
different for
shit.
sure. Um, so I don't know, man. Like
There's just not a. There's just not that many jobs in Mexico for the education level that you had.
yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's that there's not that many jobs because it's a huge industry, right? And I don't want to say that either. Like I mean, I have more than half my friends on Facebook are live in Mexico City, and they're all my age, and they all manage to have good jobs and a good life, right? So like they can do it. I just
Yeah.
know that uh, how can I explain? I think let me put it this way, and maybe I'm wrong, but it's my perception. I think that if we were all to be fired tomorrow, most of them would have to look for a job for a little bit or put a lot more effort into finding another one. I think I could honestly, without overreacting, with LinkedIn, doing 1 hour a day or something, find another decent paying job in
Yeah.
2 weeks. I really do
Damn.
feel that way, and
Yeah.
there's no way. I don't think that it works like that in Mexico. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit wrong, but that's my perception. The opportunities are just less, man. It's just weird. It really
No, I
is.
believe it. I believe it.
Yeah, but it is great, man. It's great to try. It's great that you got to see that. Like, I mean, it is eye opening. It's the only way to really see it and uh, experience it. That's why we got to do it. We'll leave it for another time, but we'll have to schedule a trip or something. Like we'll
Oh,
just have to
yeah,
make it
we should do that for sure.
Yeah.
And not just Colombia. It'd be nice to hit up like Argentina and, like I said, and Chile and all that shit too.
Yeah.
All the better. It'd be awesome to go there with a Spanish-speaking person as
Yeah.
well, so I can really get like the
Yeah.
the non-gringo treatment. You
Yeah.
know?
No, I'm
But-
with you, man, for sure.
But I'm sociable. I'm really sociable, and I only know what like the smallest amount of Spanish ever, but enough to like let them know like I kind of let them know like my values and my politics pretty quick, because even in other countries I'm like I say shit,
Yeah.
just to cover my own ass, I guess. But
But
yeah.
it's probably a good thing because you know that I don't like even that stuff, but like the reality is that there is a negative connotation towards towards Americans right now just because of Trump. That's the reality.
Yeah.
So like you do have to kind of maybe express your mind a little bit, and it's funny, but they there's this connotation because they think like Americans must be so intolerant, they must all be like Trump, right? Like that's a generalization, and yet they're the same. They're being intolerant just by thinking that,
Oh
it's
yeah,
one of
true,
those,
true.
Things, man. So you just have to be open-minded, and like you said, probably speak your mind. You're a good person, man. There's no reason why you wouldn't.
Yeah, and people think that like, oh, it's just like I went to South America, I went to Colombia. Like, oh, of course they all hate Trump, blah blah blah, right? But literally 3/4 of the people that you're hanging out with are from other countries that are visiting Colombia.
Yeah.
When you're in the hostels, and every single one of them are on the same page.
Yeah.
Like, there's no question about it.
Yeah.
It's not even a small smidgen of a hope. It's that's how they perceive us.
No, for sure. For sure. It is.
But not to get too political. But
no, but I'm with you. I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. I'm glad you did.
Dude, friendliest people though. Friendliest people.
Yeah.
And safe as fuck. I'm sorry, it was safe. It was safe. There was no place I went that was safe. No, don't get me wrong. If you're out there at 3 a.m. doing your thing in the city, yeah, try to do that in Chicago. Try doing that in Boston. It's not the best, safest place to do it anywhere in the world.
That's what I tell people, man.
Jesus, like, what is people are so worried about the dumbest shit.
Dude, that's what I always tell people. And I get a double whammy of it because I live in Chicago, which has fame for being insecure, and then, I'm from Mexico City, which same thing. But it's exactly what I tell people. Like, well, yeah, absolutely. Like, if you go to South Side Chicago, or like you're drunk at 3 a.m., in the subway in this sketchy line, of course,
Yeah.
Like, there's no question. Same in Mexico. But it's like, I feel like you just have to have a little bit of a common sense and don't push your limits. Which, don't get me wrong, people like you and me tend to sometimes push those limits, and that's why like people get in trouble. Like, it's easy, especially after you had a couple of drinks. I get it.
And I stand out like a sore thumb down there. Don't get me wrong. Like, I definitely don't look like I belong there. As far as like, I wasn't born there.
Yeah,
shit like that. There's some young kids that come out, and I'll tell you, the children are the sketchiest. Like, they're like, dude, this fucking 12-year-old, fuck that dude. Like, I'm sorry, like that 12-year-old, little pickpocket motherfucker. Like, I don't hate the kid, and that's just his life. But I'm just thinking, damn, that's the kid you got to worry about.
Yeah.
Why you're 12 years old and you're out at 2:30 in the morning? Something's fucking up.
Yeah.
And it's not like gonna hurt you or anything. He's just gonna pickpocket you. You're like, damn it, I just lost $50.
That is the thing. And man, it's but you just have to be like, I do. Maybe it is insecure. Like, it depends on how much you see it, right? Like, the way I see it is like, even when I go out in Chicago or in Mexico, I have two wallets, right? My going out wallet, which if I lose it, I don't care. Like, I also have like one credit card, my an ID that I can lose, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I always carry it in my front pocket. Like like I
Yeah.
just have certain things that I think
Common
maybe also,
sense.
yeah,
Well, beyond common sense, like that's actually pretty legit, like above and beyond common sense. Because you said you carry it in your front pocket.
yeah.
That's rare nowadays. It's rare to
You're right.
teach somebody that.
You're right. Like that is the thing. Like I know, hell, I know that a lot of people don't do it, and the reason I know that is because for years I didn't do it. Like I just at some point I feel like this is the right thing to do, right? Like it just takes one time, and then it sucks. So like why risk it? And I think that following those set of rules, like it is pretty safe. But again, maybe it is not for everyone. I'm also a man. In my 30s, might be completely different. If you're a little blondie, small girl who seems easy to take advantage of if she's asking questions that seem kind of stupid. You never know, man. But we are
Yeah,
lucky in that aspect too. So.
I mean, like they were, we were partying with my sister, which she's, mm, eh. But we were getting pretty heavy. We were drinking our asses off,
Right.
and so we were hanging out with the locals. We went off the beaten path, which we shouldn't do, but that's where the fun's at.
I get.
So those three of us were drinking, drinking, drinking. They're feeding us these. I mean, I can see it coming from the bottle. Like it's not like a poisoned. It wasn't like a roofied drink or anything, but they were definitely not like the regular shots that you take. They were like hardcore, and we started drinking, drinking, drinking them. And then light was progressing, and I was just like, "We gotta get the fuck out of here." I was like, "We gotta go." So we finally left, but like, no one's gonna like. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Everyone wants to get laid and shit. They want to like bring home the girl, but they weren't forceful. Like they were, yeah, definitely feeding us alcohol to like, hey, let's have a good time. And like, then my sister, she's getting drunk, and I'm just like, it's time to fuck
Yeah.
go. Like, there was a point where I was like, she's getting really fucked up.
Well, and that's when it can get kind of bad. Like that's when again you gotta like what you did is the right thing to do, right? Like it's like, well, we're getting a little bit too much. Like
We're not young anymore. We can't.
yeah,
Yeah,
man,
I
and
can't
it's not
do that
even
shit.
being young, right? But like being smart, because I think that even you
Yeah,
might have even a bigger risk of getting messed up if you're that age and getting really really fucked. Because if you're 18 years old and you're getting drunk there, they even think like this guy, what are we gonna take from him?
easy.
The 200 pesos in his wallet. But like you don't
Yeah,
have credit cards, like you might have some some cash in your wallet, like whatever. So
yeah.
it's just being careful, and it's easier said than done, because like
Well,
again, I've been in those situations where I mess up, and I get in trouble for stupid stuff.
what one thing though, which I really, it's hard for Americans probably to digest this, but and I'm American obviously, but like they do look at us. I saw this in Colombia. Like they do look at Americans like we are rich. Doesn't matter who you are in that country. If you're an American, they look at you like you've got fucking money. And that's at least that's how I felt, right?
Yeah,
And so like if they did rob you of like $50 American or whatever, like to them, and I'm speculating a lot here, but it's not like they were stealing a whole lot of your. They weren't really stealing like the same as if an American stole money, because they think that you can just snap your fingers and it's back.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like it's
I do, and
so that's why petty thief. Like all you hear about is thieves, and it's really not even that bad. But like that, the only crime I ever hear about is like somebody stole some money. That's it, and it's like usually small amounts of cash.
yeah, the thing is, there's a reality to that too, though. No, it's not that you have a lot of money. Like you,
I do compared to a lot of them though, not to
well,
all of them, but a lot of them.
absolutely. But that was kind of my point. Is like for one, you're dealing with people that you're just not used to dealing with here in the U.S. Like at that level. But not just that. It's like your dollar goes so much farther away down there, right? Like the reality is that when you're there, wherever you're going, it's highly likely that you're already paying raised prices, and still it seems cheap to you. You're like, what? That was
Yeah,
$3 for that huge drink, and that is still you paying like twice as much. Like for the locals, it must be like $1 or whatever. So of course they
yeah,
have that perception, and it's not that you're rich or anything, but like it is very hard, even if they know that in the US the money doesn't go that far because things are more expensive here. It's just hard to subconsciously not make that connection. So they instantly think like, if this guy is coming here and spending like $2,000 on a vacation, dude, that's a lot of money. That's a lot for
Oh
someone
yeah.
down there, you know. And so I get where that is coming from, for sure. For sure, I get it.
I totally get it too. Like I totally get it. Like, but here's the thing too. What made me want to really like, I want to bring somebody from those countries like Colombia and shit. Not trying to be a hero, but like help them come to the United States. Because if I can afford coming down there because it's so cheap, like how the fuck are they supposed to afford coming here? They can't do that shit. Like if I just helped them out a little bit, like by giving them a free place to stay or something. You know what I mean? Like imagine $120 a day hotel that a Colombian has to pay versus me paying $20 a day down in Colombia. How much cheaper it is for me to do that than them to come here? Like I feel like they need the help, and I think it'd be kind of nice to be able to like return the favor, I guess. Like you let me in your country, let me help you come into our country. You know what I mean? Is that bad?
It's very positive of you to see it that way. It's just
it seems so simple. It seems so simple. Like
it's not. It's not at all. Like even if for one, it's for many reasons, right? Just beginning with you, like having someone stay with you would be difficult, right? Doesn't matter who it is, even if another neighbor, that would be difficult. But like, it is just that you cannot do it.
Not for very long.
Yeah, but even if you have the space and everything, there's not a legal way to do it.
Well, no, they'd have to get it like a regular passport or whatever, or a visa to come.
No, like that is the thing. Like you're talking about them coming as a tourist, or trying to help them like get a job or something.
No, just for a vacation. Just for a vacation.
Okay.
Say, come check it out.
Even then, the tourist visa not as easy as you think it might be for them to get.
It's not the same
so much of the immigration.
Right.
So if you're medium class or something, you should be able to get it pretty quick. But there's not that many people in what, or at least what you and I consider medium class. Like there's really just not that many people, and so most people cannot get it. Man, dude, my cousin just got his tourist visa to come to the U.S. And I've been telling him, come to Chicago, just come visit. You know, you'll love it. He's a musician. Like let's go check out some bars. Chicago's a great city for music. It took him a while. Like you have to be able to show that you have a steady job. Like all this, it's a bitch. It's a very complicated.
Just to go on vacation. Just to go on vacation,
man. Yeah, it's not easy. It really isn't, man. Like, and it makes you wonder. Well, then how are all these people coming to work here? It's like that's still like the tiniest percentage, man. Most people get it's crazy. It's crazy. So like,
that's why I think it'd be nice if I could help somebody out a little bit. Like,
yeah.
I mean, look at you. Like, you're a really good friend of mine. You're not natively born here, you know.
Right.
Like, I'm so glad that you're here now and shit, and you have that free reign to go back and forth. But you know, the struggle you had to go through, years of, you know, just being here. You've been here for what, 8, 9 years now, 10 years,
11 years, dude.
It's 11 years, dude.
Yeah.
But I mean, the struggle. It wasn't just snap of the finger.
No, dude. It was very hard. But honestly, dude, I didn't have the will or the strength to do it. I was just in the lucky person. I had good parents that you know help. I had good friends. I had I don't know, man. Like I know that I would have not made it if I didn't have people to talk to guide me. I just got lucky, man. Like that's all it was. Yeah, like and of course it's not 100%. Like I busted my ass, right? Like I really had.
Yeah,
But,
of course.
But I know still with all of that, like I had the cards. I had an avenue to do it. Most people, doesn't matter how much you fucking try, you just cannot do it. You know?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. And it's not like, well, I mean, you're talking about like you're full on citizen, and other people, we were talking about just vacation mode. But yeah, when they actually do, if they actually do want to get a work visa, you get all the complications.
Work visa part
it
so
sucks. I'm sure.
Like, oh my god, dude, I cannot.
You're a slave too. You're a slave because as soon as you get fired, you have to go back to your home country. Like, what the fuck? There's no protections. No protections for you.
No, it's a really I don't know what is the right. I'm not even saying it's a fucked up system because I truly don't. I don't think I understand it. I just know it's a very complex. That's why no one has the answer because it's complicated as fuck, man. It's
Yeah.
very difficult.
No, it is. It's very complicated.
Yeah.
There's no real full. There's no objective answer. It's all subjective.
Yeah.
Because it depends on the times, depends on what our needs are, and society has borders. Apparently, don't get me wrong. You know, my left leaning motherfucking self is like, fuck borders, but I understand society and to have like a country that has rules and blah blah blah. You need some sort of borders. I get that.
You do. You need
And
the borders
you
for
need some
sure.
rules.
For
You need
sure.
some rules, or else it could go to chaos. I guess so.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah,
But set
that's
in
why I
those
don't
rules.
know it because you need the borders, and you would even think like, well, with all these tight controls, if we're still giving that many passports and visas, well, but at the same time, I know that sometimes it's just hard because there's people here with a green card that shouldn't have it, and there's also people that really deserve it. That they have doctorates, that they've been here for 6 years, that they're smart people, that they're paying more taxes than everyone, but they cannot get it. You know,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
again,
Oh yeah.
the rules are there for a reason, and it's just it's hard. That's why I don't even give my opinion on the topic. Like I just know it's fucking hard, man. Like it's just
Well, at least you're grateful for. I mean, I know you're grateful for what you have, but at least you understand. You can help tell people like
for sure.
how hard it is. Like it's not easy. And
No, for sure.
no
And I
false
am
hope.
grateful. I am. I am grateful because I think if I was living in Mexico, I'd be completely fine. You know, my family has a great family.
Yeah,
My family has a great life, and I would be just fine. But dude, I enjoy my life here. Like I'm happy, and it could have been worse, man. So I'm just grateful, not just with me being able to come here, but with life. I've been a lucky son of a bitch, man. Like I just been lucky. So
lucky and hardworking and a good person. You've never done anything wrong ever since I've met you, other than partying and shit. But but I mean, like you're a good dude, and it's like this country was founded on immigrants and shit. It's like, and I hate to say it like in that way, but like you're part of that. Like
yeah,
if you make this country better, it's because we pulled you from another country to help this country out. And like to me, that's like fantastic that we can do that.
yeah,
But
dude. No,
but again, I mean,
that's fair.
you're a productive member of the society, though. You're not a negative drain on society.
I'd like to think I'm not. Sometimes maybe I am, but for the most part,
Overall.
overall. Yeah. No, I'm with you, man.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
I'd be a
that's
negative drain, but I'm probably a negative drain.
Like I said, overall, I think we both are okay, but we've had our moments. We've had a. But anyways, dude, I was gonna ask you this question, but I already asked you the other day. I think through WhatsApp, and it's probably not good, anyways. If I'm gonna upload this here in a little bit, but
whatever.
let me ask you this: it's a different one. Would you catch someone from 150 feet in the air?
150? I'm trying to figure out what 150 is. Shit. So how many stories do you think that is? If it's 12 foot per story, 12 times.
So it would be about
12. It's about 13 stories almost.
Yeah.
No. Now a little child, maybe give it a go. An adult, hell no. Nope, 0%. Like it's got to be a tiny child, like fucking 5 years old and younger.
Yeah.
And then I know that I'm going to get hurt,
but
it would still potential that the break of my body will help that body survive. So if we can split the difference, fine. But an adult, fuck no, you're dead.
Yeah, I think the most. Yeah, I don't know. Like, do you think most people would think about like would get out of the way, or they would try it somehow? Because you wouldn't even have time to think if you see it, right? Do you think that you would react? Your answer is correct. The answer is that you should not even try it, right? But would you be able to think it?
Again, I think if the person is literally at least half your size, people would probably at least put their arms out. Break their arms. That's fine.
You think that they would they would be able to, because you had like at least a couple of seconds to think about it, right? Like suppose you just turn up, you see it, you think most people would try to or immediately retract because you it's something that you would almost have to do
I think most people
subconsciously.
would retract.
You think so? Okay.
I think they're going to see it as a danger immediately and a threat because once it's like going to be like an exploding bomb when it hits the ground. Like 12
Yeah.
stories is pretty big. 6 stories though, 6 stories is a different story.
That still mess you up pretty bad, but you're right.
Because
You could save that person's life, and you relatively. Oh,
whoa,
that's still
as an
pretty
adult,
bad.
an adult still is like a big. Like I'm a big dude, so I would try to save my ass. But I live on 6 stories, so like my rooftop is on the 6th floor, and so like I look over the edge and I'm like, I'm definitely dead if I jumped, no doubt. That's a good
Yeah.
ender. It's a good way to end it if you really wanted to. Um, but I think a child, if a child fell off, I think an adult could save the child's life if they did catch the child. Now the adult would get fucked up pretty good.
Yeah, he would.
But I think for a child, yeah. But for an adult, even 6 stories, nope. Maybe no, no. Just a child.
Yeah. No, fair enough.
Yeah, easy enough.
Um, I have a couple other weird questions if you're cool with it.
Go for it. If I'm cool with it, if the whole entire internet is cool with it, because remember it's being live streamed, but I think there's like.
Oh, are you still live streaming it?
It's been live streaming for a while.
Okay.
I don't know if it's actually working.
Probably my camera could be better.
I don't think it is working.
I thought like I told you, I thought it was working on your side because I could hear the audio and I could see an image, but I thought it was the stream was very unsteady. Like it just looked almost robotic. I think the audio was okay though. And I think you're streaming me without a chroma key filter, right? Like I look green.
Right. No, that's true. No, but I'm moving my camera. So you should be looking at my keyboard right now, basically, or my fingers.
Yeah, that's what I'm
seeing, Facebook is showing just my face still. But again, I lost my OBS. It's gone.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you the other question.
Oh, there it is. Oh, you're gonna ask me a different way, huh?
Yeah, you're there. But it definitely looks glitchy, super glitchy, at least for my computer. But anyways, all right.
I should just end that.
You're good. I mean, you can leave it or end it or whatever. I'll send you my stream as well, like my file.
I'm not that worried about it, but I think I will end this because I don't think it's working on Facebook.
Man, I wish I would have figured this out a long time ago. This setup is perfect. This setup right now is perfect.
All right, I ended the live video.
Yeah, I mean, your audio and your image is still good, but definitely went down in quality a little bit, which is all good. Oh, it's coming back. All right.
All right, it should be good now.
Man, nice chair.
I found it in the dumpster.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Great. It's like a gaming chair.
Yeah, it is. That's what I was wondering. Like, that's weird that he has one of those. But dude, that's awesome. That's a good move. Whatever works.
I didn't get your question. Oh, you put it on Hangouts?
Say what? Oh no. Here it goes. So like the question was, do you have a method? Do you ever fake confidence? You know, like for job interview. I think I'm a pretty good job interviewer, and so what I've noticed is two things. One, if I have a good job at the moment and I'm getting calls, and I'm like, I don't care if I get it or not. Like I'm just going there to practice. I normally kill the interview because I feel confident. You know, like I'm like whatever. Sometimes if I really want the job, I do bad because I'm nervous. Like I really want it. But sometimes I'm able to put myself together and just like I have this thing that I just think uh, I just lie to myself pretty much, and I'm like, dude, you're for one, you know all your shit, all of it, whatever. You're good. Like you don't need this. You have the I lie to myself. I literally do that to increase my confidence. Do you have anything like that for either interviews, dating, like whatever?
Well, I definitely agree with you when you already have a job that you like and you've got this offer that like came out of nowhere, like that a level of confidence was like ridiculously like confident. Like it happened to me as soon as I got this job out here where I'm at in Maryland, and I got a job offer, and immediately got another job offer, and I already started my job about a month in, and they're like, give me the same offer basically, same pay, same everything, but different organization, and I like did not give a flying fuck about being perfect. I was just me. I was completely just me, and they ate that shit up. I had one phone interview, hung up the phone. They shot me an email saying you got the job. I'm like, I don't want the job,
Right.
and I'm like, because when they were interviewing me, I was just like telling them I wasn't giving them any line of bullshit whatsoever.
Right.
This was straight up like, here's how I think, here's what's wrong with the world, here's what's wrong with the organization, here's how I can fix it, blah, 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 blah. No holding back, not being politically correct. And they were just like, Jesus, this is exactly the guy we need. Right. And I'm thinking, well, but I don't want this job though. So like, anyways, it was the same pay though, so it was really hard to give up. But I had to give my current employer, I had to give them at least a
couple of weeks,
2 years. No, I mean it was the same
your
pay.
Current. Yeah, I got you.
Like sorry. I was like, give them like 2 years, a year. I mean, it's life. I mean, it's government work and shit. So I'd give them at least a year at a minimum, but 2 years is probably like the minimum that I'd like to give. But damn, that was confidence as fuck. Now, when I am bullshitting a job, what I tell myself though is, as you get older, of course, we're older, and we realize that no matter what job you get, like you will quickly become one of the really good workers there, because there's only a certain amount of types of people out there, and you're either going to get the job or you're not. Like, I don't know, you first get it, you think, oh, I'm not qualified. Then you get it, and you're like, shit, I'm better than 3/4 of the people I work with now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do.
And that has been true, in my opinion, for a long time. And then people wonder, well, why did I get the promotion? Why did I get the promotion? Oh, Mr. Cocky Mark, Mr. Cocky Mark Gingrass. I'm like, not cocky. It's just, I'm literally just fucking doing better jobs than everybody throughout my entire life. There's a reason why I got promoted every single year for 20 years straight.
Right.
It's not because I'm lucky. It's because I'm trying hard to do a good job.
There's that. There's definitely luck for some people, but there is, it all relies on you, right? Like you're in a way or another, whether it's because you're knowledgeable, whether it is because you're sociable, or because you're the guy that brings that coffee to the boss, like whatever the case may be. Like there's always that you do, right? So
the sociability, likability factor is always like 60% of the job.
That's huge, I think.
Easily 60%.
Yeah. Well, it's impossible to interview like that. That's why I think that is kind of messed up, because I think it's even when I do it, like if you like the person, like I think subconsciously you'll be biased a little bit, even if and not just that. The other part is that there's people that are great interviewers and shitty workers, and vice versa. I mean, there's people that have their mistakes, spelling mistakes in their resume, and they're very attention oriented normally. Like, I mean,
one thing that's good though is the older I get, anyways, I'm sure the same way. The more that you can see in people things that they have as qualities that they might not even know themselves, but you can like find them in them, and you're like, hey, you know what? I know that person's not going to be me or whatever, but they're really good at this particular part of the job.
Yep.
And so like figuring out that is pretty valuable, I think. And I don't know, maybe it's just learning through career enhancement and job growth, but I literally pinpoint pick what people are good at, and I try to, like, even though I'm not in that leadership position where I'm actually in control of them, I try to utilize their skills in those ways, knowing that every single person has a different skill set that I am lacking that they can be good at, and I can
Hmm.
help. We can help each other, It's
Absolutely.
super good.
Absolutely. Well,
And it's the truth. It's not like BS. It's not shit coming out of my mouth. Like I'm
no,
just
no, no.
saying the words, like legitimately. Like you're really good at organizing numbers and blah blah blah.
Right.
You look like you could probably do some invoicing pretty well.
Yeah.
Here, I've got a job for you.
It's positive. It's a little bit of that, but it's positive. I don't know if that is positive reinforcement or what is the term I'm trying to look for. But people like hearing that, and if they do, they tend to perform better as well. They like to be
Yeah.
recognized or whatever. So there's something to that, I think.
Do you try? Do you try to give them? So one of the things that I try to do, I may not be the best at it, but the 80% solution or 75% solution is good enough, right? So when I do try to delegate or give people work or whatever, and they give it back to me, I try to be like, don't I? A lot of times it's just like, you know what, this is great work, and I'm going to accept it, and like I'm not going to say shit. Now I get it. Some people want some feedback, and 80% of what I wanted, that's freaking fantastic, and I'm not going to say shit wrong with it. I'm going to go with it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you feel about doing that?
About giving them, so repeat that, giving them doing 80%. You cut there for a second, but
Like they gave you an 80% solution that you would have thought, oh, if I did it, I would have done like these other things. But you still zip it. You don't say shit. You say, great job, like
oh,
you
I
did the
see. I
right
get you. I
thing.
get you. But you mean 80%? Like I get you. It's similar.
80% of what your expectations were,
Yeah, that's a real. I got you.
but you still gotta say,
It's just it's a layered question and it's a layered answer, right? Because it, I think it depends on. I think really what it comes down to is to how much you want to get out of that person, that like how much you believe the capabilities, right? So for example, what are the chances of him seeing me? The intern that I had in the summer, right? Great kid, man, like super well mannered, came from private school, but dude, like half the time, like there at by the end of the internship, he would bring me a job that was probably like 10% of the expectation. I was like, good job, man. Like just get out of here. Like I'm pretty much. I didn't tell him get out of here, but I'd be like, okay, yeah, good job, because I was like, he
yeah.
really did try. He just doesn't have like what it takes right now to do a proper, even something simple like a PowerPoint. He really didn't,
I,
like, and so at that point I was like, is he gonna get something out of I tell him like this is a terrible job, like I cannot even use it, or should I, or should I tell him good job, and obviously he will keep improving because he's young or whatever. Same applies in medium level, right? Like if you have a guy that works for you and does the job mediocrely, but does the job, you're probably gonna get to a point where if you decide that that's what you need, just someone that does the job, when he keeps submitting those mediocre jobs, you're like, good job. But if you want someone to take over your job, like, and it's your own business, for example, and you want that person to do as good as you are, when they
yeah,
submit something to you when it's 90% correct, you're gonna be like, no, I need something that is 100%. Like I need you to do it as good as me. So it's really just how much you believe in the capacity and how much you want to get out of that person, in my
right.
opinion.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It just depends on the situation. You're right.
yeah,
You're right. It depends on the situation.
yeah, but
Now, a lot of things that I have to get done or do is not 100. It doesn't need to be 100%. So like in that case, don't sweat it so much.
yeah,
But you're right though. You have to teach the intern though. Like, how do I teach this guy that he's like fucking up, and I want to get him better? Like maybe he wants to get better. Maybe he wants that feedback.
yeah.
Mm.
That specific case was difficult too, right? Because he's an intern, he doesn't have much time, and I really didn't have the time to develop him. Like if I knew that, you know,
It's funny. You're right though.
so it's just it's hard. In that situation, it was truly hard. And without getting into much of it, I think I told you, but I had no choice. I was asked, "Do you want some interns for this summer?" At first, I said yes, and I said no, it's too late. And then they threw it at me. I was like, "Well, now you have to have it." I was like, "Whatever. Like this is not okay, but whatever." like I'll get some use out of it, and then it was too late. Like it's like this guy's not ready for it. Like he really wasn't. And again, he was a great kid, man. But I think I told you like something that shocked me, and I think about that often too, man. The computer use, it was so weird.
Oh,
Like dude, he didn't know. So like he had a desktop at some point because I was having him do some stuff with OBS, recording some training videos and all this stuff. Um,
go
and
on.
at first he was asking me about the internet, and he's like, "Oh, I think we didn't connect the Ethernet cable, so connect it. Just connect the Ethernet cable." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "The cable for the internet, like like because he doesn't have
Yeah.
Wi-Fi, it's a desktop." He's like, "Oh, like he didn't know that internet could be delivered via cable." He's 18 years old, right? But he just thought to him only Wi-Fi exists.
Is he 18? What do you mean internship at 18? Isn't he supposed to be in college at 18? Like,
Yeah, that was part of the problem too, man. That
fuck.
like, no.
He's
I'm lying. I'm
young.
lying. I'm lying. I'm lying.
21, worse.
Dude, no, he was 18. He was 18. Yeah, he
Man,
was
that's
just going
young
to
as fuck.
college. Yeah, and part of it again,
But you're right, though. He should know this shit.
dude. Very, very, and he clearly went to like a private private school, like he came from a good family. You were able to tell, right? But like,
Yeah.
just ask him to do a very basic presentation. Forget about like a topic that is complicated. It's on yourself because I want you to introduce yourself to the team. So like put your hobbies, whatever, dude. So I asked him, "Do you know how to use PowerPoint?" And he's like, "Yeah," but he had never used actual PowerPoint. He'd never used a Windows PC, a Windows computer, right? So he didn't know PowerPoint. And then on top of that, forget like common sense formatting and everything. Like he did slides with a couple of pictures, but just white background, black text, size
Mm.
unproportionate, just
Yeah.
the pictures were all
Yeah.
different, just completely. I was like, man, like I don't know, at your age, if I had received a paid internship, never
No
mind,
shit.
dude, I'd be busting my ass so that I could like
I
get a
agree.
secure job.
I agree.
And I don't know, I think the problem was that he was busting his ass. That's the problem. It's just he's not used to. It's a different type of generation, man. It's just weird.
All right. So you're right about that. Like, I started working with some internships quite a lot before I left where my old job. And for one, there was no time for them. Like I get it. Like a lot of people, like the interns are all pissed off because like, well, no one's teaching me anything. No one's teaching me anything. It's like, but then we're all pissed off because like I have no time to teach anybody anything. Like I'm
Right.
doing my fucking job and there's no time for it. Anyways, there's that. But what you just brought up though, like the whole like entitled, like I've never done it before type shit. I hate to say it, I want to bring it back to politics, but like that's Trump.
You think
That's
so?
Trump.
How?
He's never done anything. Like, the kids are
Right.
a PowerPoint. Like, Trump's never had to explain himself like that.
Well, right,
He
but
never.
he's definitely not responsible for the whether
Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe I did
right.
bring this.
No, and here's where I'm coming with. Like he's been president just recently, right? Like he he has nothing to do with those type of people, and he's an older person. So if he is like that, and he's a turbo mega rich person, so I do think that example is a little bit
It's a hell of an example, but it's again, he's never done those things.
for sure,
Like, he's never
for
done
sure.
them. He
It's
has no idea.
yeah.
But how far removed can you be from society? Is all I'm trying to say. But you think that this kid is? He's an
Well,
entitled kid that. You didn't use the word entitled. I did. That was me that used it. You
no,
didn't
no.
use that.
But I
But
see
I'm
where you're coming from, and maybe I agree with the term. I just think that in the case of Trump or anyone who is born into extreme wealth or whatever, well, there's an excuse, right? And I'm not even saying that I know that Trump is like that or that I don't, but like I get it. Like so, anyone born with entitled wealth, well, they're not gonna do many things that normal people do. But him, I know that he comes from a good school, but he's definitely not rich, right? And he's probably going to
right.
a same level of education that you and I went went to, even if he's going to private school or whatever. I just don't get how they cannot have I don't know. To me, it was like a. It was the first time that I truly felt either very old or completely disconnected. I'm like, how does this kid not know what Windows is? You're
I,
not. I don't
I
know.
give him credit though. We are older, and we grew up with Windows for most of our lives probably instead of Macs and all that shit. Now, going through college and high school nowadays, maybe this is different, but I did see it as well, like through internships, through the younger generation that were coming through in the DoD. It was, and it's frustrating because like literally every single day we deal with PowerPoints and Word and Excel and all that shit. And it's like these guys are just like, how do you not know how to do like shortcut keys? How do you know what Control C, Control V is? But the kids didn't know. I'm like, it's fucking weird.
That is weird though,
It's
right?
like, isn't it more efficient? Isn't it way easier? This one kid, though, when I was in school in Richmond, he's not, I mean, he's probably 7 or 8 years younger than me. Smart as fuck dude, though. Um, he knew all the shortcut keys and all stuff, but like, he would not use a regular mouse. He was like way more efficient with the mouse pad on a Windows. Now, on my MacBook, I'll take my mouse pad any day over a mouse, no
Oh,
doubt.
really?
Yeah, I would never ever use a mouse with my Mac. There's just no point. It's inefficient. It's not cool. Now with a PC,
Huh?
I fucking need a mouse because the trackpad and shit
Yeah, it's just not
leagues,
good.
leagues, leagues, not even close to the MacBook. And so I definitely, but this kid on a regular PC, Windows, I use PC and Windows kind of interchangeably, but he was just freaking all on the trackpad. I'm like, fuck, how do you do that shit? He's way more efficient with the mouse trackpad than a
Yeah.
mouse. And I'm like, fuck that shit. That's weird.
It is, man. It is. Again, I don't know. I'm not even saying. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
We are old.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Maybe it is just me being close-minded. I don't know.
No,
It's
but
just
the
weird.
damn kids should know what an Ethernet cable is. They should know. They should Google this shit. It's an internship. You
Well,
know, it's you deal with computers and shit.
that's kind of what I mean. Like I do feel
PowerPoint.
like just kind of figure it. And I don't think that dude, my first job, something like I know even my first like full professional job. Like sometimes I go back and reflect, and I'm like, God damn it, how did I even get hired? I was such a dumb person, right? But like, but I do know this for sure. If I didn't know how to do it, I was like, better fucking figure it out. Like I would try like my like
Yeah.
go ask like, and I would tell sometimes like straight up, I don't know. Please guide me. Like, but I'll do it, and I'll do the like. But that was completely gone. And again, this was just one kid, so I don't know. It doesn't mean that is reflects the norm, right? But
No, I think you're right. I think it does kind of reflect. I think it does reflect it a little bit. But
yeah.
but that's just us old motherfuckers talking about the younger generation. But anyways, another thing. When I'm not gonna lie to you, coming from Oklahoma to Maryland, I feel like I've missed out on a lot of opportunities in technological advances and like the way that we do things. And I literally learn shit every day here, and I'm like, these people are doing this every single day, and I'm like, I'm the guy that doesn't know. Like, I don't know. I'm learning quickly. Luckily, I am still, but there's so much shit that they do out here that you just didn't do in Oklahoma, in the government, anyways. And I'm
Oh,
like,
okay, okay, okay.
fuck, like, you guys are tech savvy. You guys do know this shit. In fact, I'm the one that's like behind because I was
Yeah.
stuck in Oklahoma for a while. I'm not shitting you. Like when they say like Oklahoma's 50 years behind, not it's really not 50 years behind, but
But
even
again, it's
technology
still
wise and like work wise, technology wise,
yeah, it is kind of
definitely
like a different
behind.
place, right?
Yeah, and like nobody believes me. I'm just like, dude, like,
No, I know what you mean. I really do. You know that I
that's
do. It's
no offense to them because that's just the way it is. You don't need it out there, maybe, but you can't survive with the way that you do things, even on a computer in Oklahoma, is different than in Maryland.
it definitely is different. And at the same time, it's weird, right? Like there's uh, I mean, I know plenty of people that were good with computers from Oklahoma. You, James, was pretty computer savvy. There's plenty of geniuses there, obviously, but it's just not as common. Like it's just not. I don't know how to explain it really, but I know exactly what you mean, and it is a thing, man. Like it is like I had my at the same time, like I had my roommate Jake and Juan. They were both engineers, super smart, super open minded. So for me, Oklahoma has always been like a weird place, and I might even go back. I think I've told you, but like
Yeah.
it is a bizarro place for sure, man. Like I think that it's just I don't know how to explain it. You can find like the ultimate like ignorant person in one corner, and then another like a doctor of something in the other, and it's you don't really see that contrast. At least not in Chicago. I don't think not that way. At least I'm sure in DC not at all. I know that it's more of a well, it's very blue. A lot of people with money, a lot of people with higher education in DC. It's just
Well, you
different.
still have it though. You still have like the ignorant people. Like there's a guy that I work with that literally doesn't know any shortcut keys, and that drives me nuts. But I definitely don't. I don't ever hover around his shoulder and try to teach him anything because it's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's just easier if I just do it myself.
Yeah.
You know, they do exist, but overall, in general, though, like
No, no.
literally everywhere you go, people are just more educated when it comes to technology and stuff around here.
And that's what I mean. Because yeah, the moment that I said what I said, I was like, that's not gonna make sense. And of course, in Chicago, you find of every single thing that you can think of, every single thing. But yeah, it's just different. I think at least in Chicago, it's just the fact that there's just so many more people. I mean, it might just be that simple. And so,
Yeah.
and I'm also now in a work environment, so I met people through work a lot. And in school, man, in school I met from everything, from the smartest people I've met when I was in school with you, even super smart people, and then like other kids that I was like, man, like I'm struggling in school. This kid, there's no way he's gonna make it. Like this guy can barely write his name, you know, like, and it's just it's a different phase of life. I think it's just weird.
Do you guys use Microsoft Outlook at work?
Yeah.
Do you have shared calendars where like you look at other people's calendars and you see when they're open, and then when they're open,
Yeah.
you can schedule shit?
Yeah.
We do that too, but in Oklahoma we didn't do that. We never scheduled something for anybody. We had to email them a few times and ask them,
Well, but that might
"Can
be
I schedule you?"
just your job, right?
It might have
Like
been,
I'm
but
sure
my
that there's
job.
companies that do it in
I,
Oklahoma.
I was
That's
there for
not
12
very
years.
complex, right?
Say what?
That's not very complex, you know. Like I'm sure that
It's
there's plenty
not.
of companies that do it. I would like to think.
I would hope so, but in Oklahoma, in my 12 years there, I've never had that. And then as soon as I go to the FDA, I'm like, well, when are you free? When are you free? Like, they're like, look at my calendar. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. I looked at it and it looks like you're free on these times. Can I schedule like during one of these times? So like, am I free? Well, then the answer is yes.
Yeah.
that concept did not make any sense in Oklahoma. 0%.
Wow. Dude,
Never, ever could schedule somebody. I could never schedule somebody else's time without asking them ahead of time that I can do that. Until I came to the East Coast, everybody does it.
that is weird, but I'll tell you this much. I know I did learn to use the scheduler assistant in Wichita, in Kansas. And
Yeah,
so when I was at Cessna, definitely everyone was like, set up a meeting. Use the just check if I have a time available. I'm like, what? It's like, yeah, just check. It's like you won't be able to see my meetings, but you get to see when I'm checked. And now I use it all the time. But it's
yeah.
funny, like definitely, man. And I see definitely. I work with a lot of people still that don't know how to use it. They're always scheduling a meeting when everyone is busy, and I know you don't know how to do it. And it's just who teaches you that?
Luckily for me, most people have to schedule around my schedule. So like I'm lucky that
Yeah.
they're scheduling all the meetings. So I work with a lot of contractors. I've got 42 contractors underneath me that like, of the 42, probably 15 of them are actively, working with me.
Yeah.
The rest work for them, but there's 42. But so those 15 people, they're scheduling meetings with me, and they have to look at my schedule. It's pretty nice that they're doing the work.
Yeah. No,
Like,
absolutely.
it's always fucking better. But they look at my schedule. They don't overlap shit if they don't have to. There's a couple of things that overlap. Like I have recurring meetings, and I let the contractors know, like the ones that I'm close to, I let them know, like, hey, by the way, this meeting that's ongoing, recurring, that particular one, you can schedule over that. That's fine.
Right.
And they know that pretty quickly. Like they learn that quick.
Man, I think that it definitely, like, I had a boss. Maybe I've told you about it. His name was Sankara, um, and this guy was just extremely well organized. And he would almost, if you went to his office and his door office was open and everything, I mean, he would talk to you, but he would tell you, like, if this is a long conversation, schedule the time. My calendar is up to date. And it's like he moved by religion almost, and he was never late, and he would always cut the meetings on, always on the dot, and
Yeah.
people just knew that was it was like it worked.
That's a
And
good way to do it. I wish we did it more like that.
yeah, man, I'm pretty decent at it, and I keep working at it. I even, but it needs to happen more often. The president of my company does it that well, does it that way. But everyone else, man, dude, I work with so many people that they're just their inboxes are like, like 700 emails that they have not even seen, and it's just madness. It's just freaking madness.
I'll try to schedule 5 minutes or 10 minutes after the hour and end at 5 minutes or 10 minutes before the hour ends. Like I'll do a 50-minute meeting. So I'll start at 9:05 and end at 9:55, just to get people to have like 5 minutes to get from one meeting to the next.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous how many meetings there are. Fuck work, dude. Let me check it. I'm just kidding.
But yeah,
I like it. I do like it.
OneNote to take notes, or what do you take to take meeting minutes? Like,
dude, I suck at taking notes to this day. I don't break out my T89 like I used to in Calc 3.
Dude, I'll tell you something. That is one skill that I'm pretty proud of, that I learned from that guy from Sankara. Like being able to lead a meeting, do the timekeeping, and take notes, like action items, and deliver the action items, and sending the meeting notes after the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
I think it helps a ton, and it makes a really good impression. But like the way I do it is, if you use OneNote.
Yeah.
So for example, if I set a meeting with you in Outlook, if you double click in the meeting in Outlook, like
it opens up.
It opens up, and they'll say there, take notes with OneNote. And the moment that you click on that, it opens in one folder in OneNote. It says Mark Gingrass, like all the attendees, and you can just click who is present, so you can see who attended and who's not. It tells you who accepted the meeting in Outlook and who didn't, who is tentative.
Oh shit! Okay.
It lets you put like Excel, great. So I always put one that date added, action item, and owner, and I put the agenda, and it's like we have 5 minutes for this, 5 minutes for this, like 10 minutes for this, and whatever. And then at the end of it, I know the shortcut to input date, which in OneNote I think is Control Shift plus D. So I just always put the date immediately. If you press Control 1, it opens this little square. It's just a check mark. So then on the next meeting, you can action item taken care of, check, and that's it. You don't have to mark it. You don't have to anything. And at the end of the meeting, you just go to File, Send, and you don't even have to write the email addresses of the people. It's all the people that were in the meeting invite. Their emails automatically populate. You just click Send, and it sends to everyone. And
we should do an actual like video of how to do that.
Yeah.
In real time.
Yep. Let's do it tomorrow or on Wednesday or whenever you can, man. Let me know and we'll do it.
Are you going to use your work computer, or can you do it with your personal? Or how does that work?
So I have in the computer that I'm using right now, which is my personal, I have I don't know if maybe I shouldn't even be talking about it, but I'm sure that you do it. I have Outlook, OneNote, and everything.
Well, we can create a fake, or we can create a meeting with me and you.
Yeah.
Professional to professional, work. I have OBS on my work computer and shit. Like I can use my computer for a little bit, like.
Yeah. No, I have like that's what I was gonna say. I have Outlook and all my software from work, even Skype for Business, in my personal computer. Like if you go to Microsoft.com and you go to Office 365 and you put Mark Gingrass at your department and you use that at work, they let you download for free like Word and everything. You should try it, man. Like it's a good.
I never thought.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, I don't know if my work is paying for my license for the software here at home or not, but like I did it and it worked. So yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Okay, cool. Well, we should definitely do that's a pro life tip. PLT.
Yeah. Let's do it.
We should do that one.
We'll set the time
I want more of that. I want more of that because I don't get the private sector. I work with government all day long. I want to learn about shit that you guys do that's more efficient.
Yeah, yeah, that one is a good skill, man.
Because that shit
We'll do
sounds
it.
good.
Dude, it is like it always leaves a very good. I once received a message from the VP or say it's like, "Thank you for being more than just your job." Because I always take notes for even other meetings that I'm not. I'm like, I'll do it because no one is taking notes or people are forgetting. They're so stressed in the meeting and they forget. So I'm always just like doing it, and it makes the world it makes a good impact, man.
I do suck at multitasking though. So like I'm paying attention, trying to respond, and writing notes. Like I'm not good at that. But what I do is so I'll take that meeting invite, I'll open it up, and I'll reply all. So it's like all the names on the list still, and I'll put like bullet points on a reply all like response.
Yeah.
And I literally won't even hit send because it's really notes to myself for the most part, and it's literally just my action items. Like if I have any action items. But what I try to do during my meeting, which the only reason why I can do this is because I run most of the meetings that are happening. Like not run them, but like I'm the guy that we're having a meeting about. You know what I mean? So like if I am not paying attention, no one's gonna yell at me because I'm the guy that they're here for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like it sucks and I'm like distracted. But when they ask me a question that I'm like, oh, I know blah blah blah, so and so Smith can answer that question. Literally, while they're talking to me, I'm like blah 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 blah. I shot the email out to that person to try to get a response. So like literally within 10 seconds of them telling me, I've already shot the email out to the person that needs to get back to me to respond. So that's kind of how I do it. And it's kind of rude, but it's like also like, it's fucking done. Like it's already gone out the door. I've already, the action item is no longer, I did it already.
Yeah.
And I wish I could do more of that, but.
Dude, you're going to love OneNote. Like you're going to freaking love it. Like
I have OneNote. I just don't use it.
You must have, like everyone, if you have Word, you probably do. But it's just a good tool, man. I love it. It's just a good way to stay organized. But anyways, yeah.
I never go back to my notes though either. Never.
There's just something about this one, man. I'm telling you, because I don't either. But they made it in a way that you never have to press save. It's just truly like if you have a constant notebook on your computer all the time. It's really weird, man. Like you'll see what I mean.
I've dabbled with it. I've used it, and then I stopped, and I use it, and I stopped. I like how you can drag and drop emails and attachments, and it just has it all there. Like I use it a very little bit, but I don't use it as effectively as I should. So I feel like those tips that you have are extremely valuable.
It has potential, and what you're saying, man, like it just simplifies that like the structure of having meetings and sending action items. It's just it's good. But you're good. Let me ask you something else. This one I asked recently, but you think that if like we knew there is no God, that people would still use the expression like when people are having sex and they say, "Oh God," but let's suppose that someone already proved there's not a God, like they're scientifically proven that there's no God. So what would we say instead of, or you get hurt is like, "Oh my God," or like, would we still say that, or you think we would stop saying that completely?
I think after a while you would stop saying it because.
Well,
it's not that it's a religious thing. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's a social vocabulary that we've come up with to say.
Right. So you think that we would keep saying it?
I think it would slowly die out. No, I don't think we would.
What would we say instead of that?
Oh my God, we would say, "Oh Mark."
Yeah, sure. I'm sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh Mark. Oh Mark.
It doesn't have a good sound to it, man. I'm sorry.
Wait.
I think I'm gonna pass on the Mark.
Only females say it though. Do the dudes say it? Do you say it? When you're about to toss it in, and you're really going at it, and you say, "Oh my God." Do you say it as a dude? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't think so. It would be weird, right?
You don't think so? It would be weird. Oh my God. Jesus Christ, my Savior.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think if I even say, "Oh my God," but I know I do say Jesus Christ,
Really?
yeah, like if I'm like upset or something, I'm like, Jesus Christ, what's going on or something. Yeah,
If
I'm
what?
not religious at all.
If you pulled out far enough that you broke your shit on her, you'd say, Jesus Christ.
If I pulled out far enough that I what?
When you put it back in, it would.
Oh no, not during sex. I don't say Jesus Christ during sex. I'm saying
Oh,
like if I get upset or something.
I'm talking
But
about during sex.
yeah, no, specifically during sex, I don't think so. I'm trying to.
That's
I
what I'm
don't
saying.
think I
Dudes don't say that.
say anything. Do you say something?
It's like really introspective.
Jen is like.
Intros. She can't even hear what you're saying though because it's like all in my headphones.
Okay.
So she's only want me to put closed captions on, but you can hear her. Jen, do guys ever say, "Oh my God" or like, "Oh God, we're about to like put a bang"?
Sometimes.
What guys? 1 year ago, 6 months ago, this guy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like, oh my God. Hey, is the religious thing a turn on when it comes to sex? I don't think.
A turn on.
I think
I don't think. I don't know. I don't think so.
it's sexy. I think if you're being referred to as God while you're banging, I feel like it's a good thing.
Wait, what?
Oh,
So she has to go
like
to
if the
church.
chick is saying, if you're banging a chick and she's like, "Oh God, oh God, oh God," you're like, "I'm the fucking God right now. Like you're talking to me." Like that's pretty powerful. I'm pretty excited. Like, yes, I'm your motherfucking God. Do as I say.
Maybe that's what you feel like. Pretty sure that's not what they mean, right?
But wait, you're telling me that if you're banging a chick and she's saying, "Oh God, oh God, oh God,"
You're
you
definitely
think
not
that
being
she's talking
referred
about
to as a
the
God.
actual God that she thinks of?
Yeah.
She's like sounding like God, I feel so good. That's even more creepy, actually. That's creepy as fuck.
You are definitely not being referred to as God.
Yeah.
Not the God.
I think
Capital G.
I think she's right, man. I think Jen is right. Like,
No, I'm not.
Well, what I think is they're definitely not referring to you or to
It's like a
any
general
man really.
outcry to
Like I think it's just like a way of saying like
maybe listening.
yeah, like
Oh, if
think-
God's listening, please make
No.
this dick feel much better. Like, oh
Don't
God.
Me too.
Oh
Don't knock me
God.
up.
Oh God, don't knock me up
Fuck
right
me
now.
harder, but don't knock me up.
No, I think that they're just. That's what I was trying to think about it the other day. It's just like, if you're really scared, you're like, "Oh God." If you feel it feels really good, you say maybe, "Oh God." Why? It's just because it's at some point when you were little, or like people say it a lot, but it's like you say it thinking,
Oh shit, he's lagging. I can't hear it.
"Oh, yeah, your image completely froze."
Yeah, I lost you. You said when you're little, what?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you were little. You said, "Oh, I think when you're just little."
Completely. The recording. How did this happen? Completely messed up. I don't know how long I've been recording you wrong. I don't know if your camera moved. I'm guessing your camera moved a little. Oh, it's when you were moving it and I
moved a lot. So you might. I don't know.
No, you're good. You're good. Like this. That's perfect. I don't know how long I went recording it the wrong way.
I have the whole thing. If you want me to send it to you, for sure.
It'll be fine.
I
I'm just gonna upload it that way. I don't even care. Tired of video editing, man. It's such a freaking hassle.
I don't even want to upload it anymore. I think we should just straight up live stream to YouTube and call it fucking quits.
Yeah.
Next time.
I think so too.
Straight live stream. Not even record. Don't even hit the record button.
Yeah, I'm
fucking live stream that shit.
I'm gonna upload this.
You taught me that over time. I have to.
Yeah.
I used to argue with you and argue with you and argue with you, but now I'm over it. I don't want to do that shit.
Yeah. Dude, it's just a freaking. It's boring.
We need good content. As long as we have good content,
Yeah.
we're good. People can skip. They can fucking hit the little. You know what? People aren't watching this on their computers anyway. So watch it on their phone and they double tap. They can do 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30-second fucking skips.
That's
It'll be
right.
fine.
That is freaking right, man.
I almost want to pay someone to actually write the descriptions of the shit for us in the YouTube with timestamps,
Oh,
like
dude.
some timestamps.
Me too. Like that
I didn't
part,
want to do.
I dread with the freaking tags, even with TubeBuddy and with everything.
I know.
It's just freaking.
Thanks for my
hate it.
$13 I got eventually. I think. from
You're
Tubi.
welcome. But
Maybe
dude,
I think I got $3. I don't even know what the fuck.
I don't like. Regardless, it's just it's a good tool. I love it, but
Thought
it's
it was
still a hassle.
good.
It's still a
I
hassle.
thought it was good at the time when we first started.
No,
it
it's
still
good,
is good.
and I'm gonna keep using it. I think it's very good. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
keep re-upping.
I just need one that does it even a better that does the timestamp that is pretty much a human AI, man.
Well, there's another one, Video IQ, VidIQ. That's the TubeBuddy and VidIQ are the two competitors. So I don't know what VidIQ really does because I never messed with it, but those are the two. The two top-notch competitors are VidIQ and TubeBuddy.
I will check it out.
But still, it's just
yep.
I don't want to do it. Now, if you notice when you upload shit on YouTube nowadays, the tags are kind of hidden. Like if you want to do the new uploader, not the classic, even finding where to put the tags is hidden. So tags are probably not worth as much as you think. I'm not even gonna fuck with tags anymore. They've already dissected the entire audio clip of the entire YouTube video. They already know exactly what words have been said, and it's already part of the algorithm. Like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah, straight up. Man, that wine looks good.
It's been good.
I hate dry January. It's not that difficult, but like it is. I don't miss like getting drunk. I just miss having a drink, man. Like it's kind of. I always thought that would be the easy part, but I think it's been the other way around. Like I enjoy. Like I was in Minneapolis. I miss just being at the hotel, getting a beer at the bar. You know, like so I went there, I got a burger, and it was just not the same. I need a beer, I need a martini or something.
Man, I hear you, but so I didn't want to drink today. I didn't want it. I was like bored, and I was like, well, I need to do something, blah blah blah, on my computer. I went to the gym, and then afterwards, I was like, well, on my way home, I don't want to go straight home. So I went to the bar, but only because I wanted to fuck with my computer and do shit. But I'm like, if I go to the bar, I have to order a beer. Like, I almost think that I could, if there was near beer or whatever the hell it is, I would have just ordered that, like, all night. But I feel like I have to pay for something. Like, I don't even give a shit. Even though I'm drinking, don't get me wrong. But I didn't want to. I didn't want to drink beer. I just wanted to be out and sociable.
Have you ever tried, or have you? What's the longest that you've gone without a drink?
6 days.
Yeah.
6 days. I've tried it multiple times, and I only make it to 6. I make it through a whole weekend.
I think it's worth the social experiment, man, because like it really is. I don't know. I found out. It's been enlightening. Is that the word?
Is it? No, that's the right word, I think.
Yeah, like I just for one, I was in part doing it really because like I was going kind of hard there in December or something, like on the weekends. I was like I need some detox and I need like a break. But so I wanted to see really that I could do it, and I easily can, right? But it's been, I just didn't know how often I have just a one drink or something just to take the edge off. You know, like when you get home from work, you're tired or something, just a beer or something does make a difference. I always thought that a beer is kind of almost pointless, or a cup of wine is almost pointless. Like it doesn't do anything to me, but it does. It definitely does. Like it does relax me, even if it's a little bit, just enough or something. And I didn't know that before. I don't know. I think it's worth trying it sometime.
No, I think you're right. I think I should have done dry January for sure. Like absolutely. In fact, I mean, the older I get, the less I think beer is good for you at all. At 0%. Like I feel like I'm killing myself slowly, and it's not cool. Like it's not cool.
Yeah.
But I do it because I'm bored. So I really do truly think that I do have like some sort of adult ADHD type shit,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
I get bored very, very, very fucking easily.
That's
Super
what you
easily.
like the video editing, man. It's just the video editing eventually turns tedious, but you were spending some good time there. It's just fun. It can be fun. It can be time consuming. It can be.
It's not that. It's not even that. It's a struggle though. Like everything is a struggle. Like piece of paperwork I fill out, fucking struggle. Everything's a struggle. I can't do it. Like I hate it. I wish there was a pill that I could take. Probably ADHD or whatever the fuck it is. You know.
Yeah.
Like I struggle with it.
Adderall.
It's a Adderall. I'd love to try. I'd love for my doctor to prescribe me something that'll help me pay attention to shit and just focus on something.
Dude,
I'm not even sure.
Weird. But yeah, I'm trust me, I'm with you 100%. Yeah, 100%. It is what it is, man. Well, do you have another one that you want to bring up?
I'll bring up one.
Okay.
So this past Friday, I had to fire 2 people from a project. so 2 people from my heaviest, hardest, hottest project that we have out of 10 projects that I'm running.
Okay.
I had to fire 2 people. This leadership is basically telling me like they gotta fucking go and like this is it, da-da-da, so they're gone. Anyway, so I had to let them go. But I told them let's go out drinking on Friday. So they knew on Tuesday that they were getting canned from the project.
Okay.
And so, anyways, Tuesday, I've seen them a few times throughout afterwards because they're going to finish off the week. They weren't fired from their particular job, but so I went out drinking and shit on Friday with them. One of them was pretty pissed off and like, had a little bit of stress and shit to say. But overall, it was actually a really good fucking time going out with them. So I was like, this is how it is, da da da. Like I know that I'm the reason why you got canned, but I do like your work, this and that, but the team just wasn't working with you very well. Anyways, I had to basically let people go, but I also went out drinking with them the same night that they were the last day of their project. And it turned out to be a really good time. And I think that they both like me as a fucking person and shit like that. And I know that's not like what you should do with people that you just canned. But I think I actually made some good connections that way.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was still weird to fucking... That's the sociable piece where I do think that I am good at. Is the fact that, I just canned these motherfuckers and... They're not motherfuckers, but I canned them and here we are, drinking beers together. And I'm not going to say much more on YouTube, but the bill was really high.
Right.
The bill was, with tip, almost $300 for 3 people.
Right.
And so, like, it was getting pretty high for not a good, it wasn't like a high-end place. It was a cheap-ass place. So we had a lot of shots and shit.
Right.
But $300 basically was the bill. But
did you cover it, or?
I didn't have to. Even though I did the firing.
Oh my god.
But I'm not saying that they did either. That'd be not cool.
Oh, dude. Sometimes...
So that's my story.
The thing is, if they were mature enough, and if we're all mature, like, you had to let them go, right? Like, it was not personal. It's not like you had a vendetta with them. Otherwise, you would have not gone out and drink it with them.
No,
so,
exactly.
I mean, an ideal world where everyone is mature and and maybe it seems like they realize, well, like, Mark's a cool dude. He was not trying to fuck us over.
Yeah, I had to. Yeah.
Like, that's right.
When enough leadership tells you that you have to do it, you kind of have to do it.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I will not give them a negative. Well, I'll be truthful when it comes to recommendations and shit, for sure. absolutely non-biased, truthful motherfucker. So
Yep.
I'm not afraid to do that. I'm a grown-ass man, and we're professionals. And regardless of what my leadership wants, that's what they wanted. That's what I did. And management made that happen on their end. So they were gone. So therefore, they were obliging with, they were cooperating. So therefore, that's a good thing on their team. So, and I'm not the project manager. I'm just the manager and the program manager of all the projects. And so I can only give my perspective, but my recommendation to, if they ever need me for a recommendation, is still good.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And if they weren't good, I would say that too. But no, they're good.
Yeah.
In their own ways.
No, it is what it is, man. But yeah, it is also hard. Like, I guess it's hard to ask someone to not take it personal if you're letting them go, and like that's what they used to feed their children and whatever, right? Like.
Yeah, that was. I was only worried about one of the two on that one, and I'm still a little bit worried about the one, but I felt bad. I felt bad about that, but
that's capitalism, though. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, they both have two other small projects, so they're not fired from like their company.
Okay.
So we're good.
So okay. Do you think that we will ever evolve past violence? You think there will ever be a time when we're like when there's no hunger, like when there's no, like if those needs were satisfied, you think that we would not be violent at all, or you think that violence is a part of human nature?
I think violence is part of human nature for a long time. When you say that, not within hundreds of years or thousands of years, I would say that'd be in millions of years types of thing for sure.
So you think that if everyone had a place to sleep and food to eat and a wife or whatever to or a husband, obviously, like if all the basic human needs were satisfied, we would still find a way to hurt each other?
Well, I would say your definition of basic human needs satisfied needs to be expanded a little bit, because the basic needs could be satisfied where everyone has a husband or a wife or a significant other, whatever. They're banging regularly. They have food. They have money. Nobody's really giving a shit. I think that there will always be that one person that's like, well, I want that guy's wife, or I want another wife, or I want another girl, or vice versa. The girl's like, I want to try some of that dick. I feel like that's, your basic human need was satisfied. Everyone's getting laid, but not by who they want. Like, I just feel like satisfying that need that you're talking about would be the impossibility part of your situation. So if you satisfied all of those needs, then maybe you're right, but I don't think that's practical. Like,
no, it's not.
Like, you're bang. Oh, you want to bang like 5 wives? Satisfied that need, but then there's 6 wives. So, like, I feel like humans will always find a way to like fucking fuck that shit up.
No, that's fair. And
I feel like that's the power part of it though too. Like, I think humans need that, like, in order to progress and to evolve. Is like, what's better, right?
yeah.
Not saying you need to bang 5, 6 wives or whatever, but
No, but
you know what I mean.
Like we always want
Trial
more,
and error.
and it's part of what makes us grow and be different. I get it.
So do you think
it's a curse too? But yeah, I get you.
Do you think that like when a walrus fights another walrus, you know how like down like, I don't know where it was, Antarctica or whatever, but the walruses fight each other, and the bigger one, the one that dominates and like beats up the other one, they don't really try to kill the other one. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but they usually don't die. They just get defeated. The other walrus decides to like, oh, you fucking won, so you get all the women. So the walrus will just chill and do whatever the fuck it does. And then the one walrus has all the women, every single one of them. Every walrus female there is. There might be 100 of them. That walrus tries to breed with all of them, and that's what happens. It's how you get like bigger and bigger walruses and better breeding.
Right.
But do you think that humans are kind of like that? Like,
that
when the bigger man gets the woman, does a littler person or the guy succeed and say, you know what, you won that. We typically don't. We usually get in arguments and arrested, and people get in fights and killed. But walruses and other species, when they lose the battle, they call it quits. The women are theirs. They did win the women. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying anything's about women, but
No, I get you, but I get what you're saying. I don't know. It's kind of
they
a.
breed.
I think that I think we're not like that, right? I don't think we call it quits. You know, like
Right?
I think that we're. I think that's our. But I don't know if that's like a innate is that program within us, or is just because the way we're all raised that we're naturally selfish little pricks. But I mean, is that just because of how we're all raised? Generally speaking, like at least in most countries, or is that part of human nature? Like I know primates are and maybe I don't know how much we share with primates, right? But like they are uh, jealous, like by nature, and they are very selfish, and you can kind of train them out of that. But like if you go, there was this case of a guy that brought a cake, I guess, to a chimpanzee or a monkey or something, and it was in a zoo, right? And so it was this I don't remember the specifics of it. I don't know if it was three monkeys and like two monkeys got a cake, and there was one that didn't. But the point is that the monkey that didn't was so jealous and so upset about it that he ripped that person's testicles.
Damn.
Yeah, so he knew, right? Like he knew like that person,
Jesus.
fuck you. Like you obviously love them more. Like so if we share something with them, like no, I don't think we quit. I think we're selfish little pricks. And yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting. What made you ask that question, or what?
I don't know, but like it seems to be like a, you know, there's a lot of stories like that. It's not just the walrus. There's the a lot of species that have that where there's just one male and that's it. There's a no now a species that doesn't have that, but we force it upon them as humans is cows and bulls. Like um, so there's a cow, a bull that's impregnating all these cows.
Right.
Well, this one particular bull has had literally like hundreds of thousands of babies. We've made that bull have these babies because we took their sperm. We always extract the sperm and try to like reproduce that sperm and give that sperm to all the female cows because it's just such a badass bull. So we're like, fuck you, you're a badass bull. Let's reproduce you. So we can have like cool ass cows that we can milk and kill or whatever. And so, anyways, that one cow, there's like literally only like three bulls that have bred 95% of all cows that we eat in America. Like, it's like ridiculous. But I'm thinking, did they win the evolutionary? No, for larger species. I'm saying, obviously bacteria and viruses, like smaller species, can reproduce at a much higher rate. But um, they literally were like, hey, I'm the most badass bull there is. Sure, I have a shitty life, but I just reproduced a fucking couple million times. I've had a million fucking babies. I think that cow won the evolutionary lottery. So, like, you have a shit ton of babies because humans interjected. So, because you're such a badass cow, humans came in and said, hey, you're the most badass cow. We want you to impregnate every fucking female there is for cows. That's what happened over and over again and for years and years. Isn't that kind of gnarly to think about? Like, so now that cow's offspring is literally what all the cows are.
Yeah. What is Jen saying?
He didn't get, well, the cow didn't get to fuck them. No, all of them. Well, probably none of them, but still, you don't you don't give livestock that type of privilege. You just take their sperm and somebody else.
What about that turtle though that they retired that like helped save his species from extinction? I think he actually got to bed.
The turtle might have. She was talking about a tortoise, I think, that some tortoise got to actually bang some other tortoises. Tortoise. I don't know. But I'm just saying that the damn thing has a shit ton of offspring.
Well, yeah, but I guess the point being,
They don't pay child support.
right?
They don't upbring them. No, I'm talking about like the inner species, the inner lizard brain of yours. Like that cow fucking won. Nobody took my sperm and said, "Hey, let's impregnate most of America's females with my sperm," literally.
Well, yeah.
And produce fucking cool ass kids.
Such a weird random thought, but
it's the same shit though. Imagine an alien come down and said, "Hey, Mark's got the best sperm there is."
But
and it's like
they don't know about, right? Like, so I mean, no. I guess like what I'm asking is like, what is your point in it that they won the
Darwin,
but they don't know, right? They don't know that they were like if they were in human nature. I mean, if humans were not involved in the reproduction process, the bull maybe would not be inseminating that many cows, but he would be he definitely would be more polygamous. Like I personally don't. I think that we're all society has made us this way, but maybe you and I have had this discussion, and it's a weird thing to say here because you have a girlfriend and I have a girlfriend, right? But we're not meant. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't freaking. We're not meant to be monogamous, right? Like that's probably the reality of the situation. I don't know what the reality is that we were supposed to. We have this urge to reproduce as much because at some point it was very difficult to make it, man. There was all these diseases. There was, you know, probably life expectancy at some point was like 20 or 25 or some shit. So like you pretty much have to reproduce as much as possible so that since 70% of the offspring were dying, the 30% of the offspring that was making it had to make it. You know. So I don't know how we got to this point of the conversation, but my point, I guess, in there is not the bull, not ours. I don't think that there's really such a thing as a monogamous thing, like in nature or for human beings. I really don't think it is. I think that we just evolved into this, and the way that we grow in society and everything also dictates it. Like we almost have to have someone in order to be happy, not just because we see it in movies or whatever. But dude, it just makes sense. It's like it's a pain in the ass to date and to do whatever. It's expensive. Taxes are better if you're married with someone. If you have a kid, dude, if you have a kid with someone, it's gonna be way harder to raise it completely on your own. It's just gonna be way harder. When back in the day, it wasn't that much. Like it was
right.
You know, it's nature. It's like you just have to make sure that no one eats him. Now you have to like do all this other stuff that is just there's this thing that's such as income and money, and you have to have the help of your partner to make it. So we just evolved into this weird thing. I think that is what I think. I'm a little bit.
No, I think you're right. I think that like the culture of like tribes, the tribal cultures where it was community based, it didn't matter as much who was having whose baby. It didn't matter. It's like a child's going to help the entire community. So whoever had the child, didn't matter who the father was, the whole entire tribe's going to raise him, right? Honestly, a lot of the tribes probably didn't even understand where the child came from back in the day, way back. I'm sure. Right. I'm sure. Like they didn't even know. There was a time in humanity where they didn't know where babies came from. Like you might have had sex, like a male and a female had sex, and then a baby appeared. But putting like two and two together, like the man made the baby inside of the female. Think about it. Like we think that's intuitive. It's not intuitive. Literally, you
No,
bang a chick, literally a year later almost, a child shows up.
for
How
sure.
the fuck do you correlate that? Like I banged her a year ago. Now she's got a baby and she's claiming that like the baby's somehow mine. You
Well,
know what I mean?
I think until language comes into play, right? But before that, absolutely. Like there was probably no way. And uh, but once language comes into play and like at the smallest level of reasoning, I think that they probably figured it out pretty quickly. Like for a number of reasons, right? For one, they probably observed it with animals, and they probably observed it just if it was a small tribe.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Just stuff like
The animal is a good point.
yeah,
Because they're faster.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
mean, I think, yeah, I don't know, but I do think, like I said, we evolve into this weird.
Now, what do you do about it? What's the next evolutionary step? Off the record.
Man, I
I'm
think
just kidding.
there was this that thing that I told you about the monkeys I heard on Rogan, and it was this guy. I think that what was his title? I don't know what kind of doctor, but he some sort of geneticist, and he said that the way we're heading, if he had to bet, we will find a way to reproduce without having sex. And so Rogan was asking him, so you think we're going to stop having sex since there will be no need for it? He's like, no, I think that we'll do it 100% for the pleasure. But the next step in evolution will be us being able uh, to 100% decide if we want to have a kid. It is because we have to. There will be no such thing as a unexpected pregnancy or anything, because people will just not have kids from sex. I think there's that, and the other thing that I think will it's completely possible that might be like the next thing. Man, I think that we're so close to having like the next revolution on, like someone's gonna come up with that chip or something that is gonna allow us to interact with computers and with others without talking or whatever. Like because right now we almost do that with phones and whatever, but it's still the communication that we have with a computer is so slow, man. We have to type, and obviously like our fingers cannot keep up with what we think. So I think
Yeah.
that the moment that we're able to just think like picture of whoever and it pops out, it's like send a message. Like the moment that it's there, which I think is possible, that's gonna be the next thing, man. We're gonna turn into a different animal. Like I think even physically will change. It'll be
Yeah.
so weird.
Like sex is a pretty good end all, like best solution, like oh, the ultimate, like here's why I got money, here's why I do this, here's why like it's a lot of men, at least in general, that I could think of is like their end all solution is like the power of like sex is pretty powerful. The power is just something that we're maybe evolved into. But but what if there's something way better than that? Like we haven't experienced it yet. Like a lot of drugs might be. I haven't experimented with a lot of drugs, right? So like, what if there's a lot of drugs that are better than sex? But right now, for the most part, for a lot of people that don't do other drugs of any sort, sex is like the ultimate drug. And it's like, oh, like the power of sex. It's not just sex. It's like the power of you just let me have sex with you. Like that's a pretty powerful thing to allow to happen. So that power tripping thing happens. What if you can replace that with something else that's even better? You know what I mean? Then why would you even bother having sex if you had something better than sex? You know what I
Well,
mean? Like, oh, you can smoke weed or drink beer, but
I get you, but the thing is, it's different, right? Because the thing about sex is that it's a need, pretty much. I always struggle with that because it's you don't need it to survive, so it shouldn't be a need. But it's a need, right? Like we it will if a man or a woman definitely go like years without sex, like you will act different, you will think different, right? Like it's a need. So whether you find something that feels better, whatever a drug or whatever you're saying, the thing is you can go without those things because you don't need them. That is just a nice. Well, sex, you need it. Like even if there's something that feels better than sex, you need to have sex. Like you will just, you know. Does that make sense? It's the reality,
Today,
man.
I'm saying you say that today, but I'm saying what if you had the magic doctor's advice and pills that said that you don't need sex, but you need this thing that's even better. What I don't know what could be better. I
But
don't know
then
what could be
oh, dude, for sure. Like, there's already things that are better, right? Like, there's already.
true.
But like, what I'm saying is, we would have to change genetically, or like you said, we would have to have a pill that makes you not get hard anymore, pretty much, almost, or like kill your sexual appetite.
I
So
swear I had that.
say what?
I swear I had that when I was in a boot camp in the military. I swear, because I was young, and you get boners like pretty quick when you're young.
Right.
I literally for my boot camp, I did not have a boner, except for the very end, I had a boner. And it was nothing gay.
Yeah, I don't know,
But
man.
literally, fucking weeks at a time, no boner, not one boner the entire time. Somebody was putting shit in my water, no doubt about it. And everybody said that because nobody got a boner. Nobody.
There might
It
be
wasn't.
something to that, man. You never know. You
I'm
seriously
serious,
never
man.
know.
They suppressed your sexual appetite. Don't get me wrong. Every time you when it was visitation day, Jesus, oh damn, shit went different then. People were banging in the porta potties and shit on
Dude,
visitation day.
absolutely. And that's what I mean, right? Like, it's this weird desire and feeling that I, neither you and I can really even understand. But like, when people, this is maybe not even a topic that we should talk about. But like I have friends on Facebook that are super radical, and they will be like, that person raped and should be in jail the rest of his life and tortured and whatever. It's like, well, yeah, raping, yeah, it's fucked up. Like, not, and there's definitely, but let's analyze, like, why, what was the stance behind that? Like, for one, was that person raped a lot when they were little, like, or something? So maybe that is the only way they think that they need to do it, if they're pedos or whatever. What about if it's a very and I'm not joking, like, but what if it was a guy with a tiny dick, and so he's never able to have sex, like, no one wants to have sex with him. He gets to 50 years old, and he's got this impeding,
No,
almost,
no, no. It's a psychological
right?
situation, and I was just reading that book. I just read Just Mercy, the book about a lot of black injustice that went on in the United States, and rapes was definitely a common thing, but the mental psychological problems that happen because the children at like 6 and 7 and 8 years old have been raped by their stepdad and this and that, their foster dad, and then like they grow up and they like do that, and you like think, well, now they're gonna get on death row, and it's like, well, I get it. It's very fucking traumatizing to the woman, and it's very traumatizing to everybody.
Well,
And
and that's what I mean. It's just very, very difficult because and it's also on that, like, if they're uh, again, I don't know, man. Like, I'm trying to word it so that I
we
don't.
know we know as mentally capable beings that are coherent that it's not right. But I know what you're saying. You're saying that some certain people just, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to word it where
When I don't sound like like I'm supporting fucking rape, because it's the last thing I'm doing, right?
I know we don't want any of that.
No,
Like we
but
can't.
there's just people nowadays that are just crazy. And oh my god, but yeah, like, pretty much what I'm trying to say is, rape happens in every country, in every state, in every, like, in every city in the world. It just happens. So why does it happen? Like, why
Right.
is it? It's obviously, there's this need, right? Like, there's this, it's a very, very strong thing, and to the point that
Right.
people do it willingly, knowing that they might go to jail, and that they might, some, I don't know, because I don't know, but if I had to bet, some of those people even knew they're that they might be, they've never hurt a person in their life, but that they might be fucking that other person's life for the rest of their life, that they might go to jail, that they might be on the run, and they still do it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
comes to show you that it's this, very hard, like incredible need. And then if you go into like
Incredible need.
yeah, and then it's if you go into the case of like pedophiles or everything, it's bad because well, if it really is like if they cannot help it, right? Like if they really cannot help it, but they're just attracted to little kids, well, it's really fuck. But that's how they were born, and yet they cannot get help. They cannot even say
Right.
they cannot even say I'm attracted to kids. I haven't acted on it, and I don't want to. I would never. But they
Because the
cannot
moment,
even say
yeah,
that because if they do, they'll get thrown in jail or
cross
committed or whatever. Like I don't even know what is exactly the
castricized is the word
no.
for it.
I think that and I don't remember, but I think that the psychologist or whoever would be talking, it would be good to talk to someone that actually knows the shit, but
They
would have
would
the
throw,
responsibility to say like he's in danger or something. He needs to go to
yeah.
a mental hospital or something.
And that those are extreme cases too. Like even like less extreme cases you can't even go to. Like I've asked to go to a psychologist a couple times. My doctor, I've never been to one.
Right.
I've asked like 5 fucking times. And I've got a white collar fucking job with insurance. Still haven't seen a psychologist. I'm like, I just want to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And they're like, nope, 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 nope. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what do I have to do? And I'm a white collar dude. So
Yeah.
imagine somebody that has all these problems and doesn't have a good job. Who the
But-
fuck they can go to talk to?
That's my point. That's my point.
Nobody.
It just becomes this very difficult situation. There was this quote, man, that I wish I would remember, but in this, have you heard of that show Mindhunter on Netflix?
Nah.
Oh, it's good, but it's based on a real story, and I don't remember the specific quote. I'm gonna Google it and bring it next time. But it says that any signals of deviance in a society, such as crime, people raping, or something, is because of the government or the authority not giving the right resources to prevent that, right? So like if people cannot eat, people will break the law. If people cannot,
Oh yeah.
they don't have a way to have sex, like well, people will revolt. If you have a society where you don't allow gay people or against gays or whatever, well, all the gay people will rebel. Like you know, like there is that. And the problem with
Yep.
that is this is a very complex topic, but that is the problem with capitalism, right? Like it is great. It is what the U.S. thrives on. It is what Mexico thrives on, and whatever. But you will run into people that don't have a chance. And I think that communism, that like is the idea that we will give everyone their basic needs, and in this perfect socialist weird idea, and that way no one will have the need to act as a rebel or whatever. Obviously, that idea hasn't worked either in the past in history or whatever. But that's why I was asking you earlier, like if we can evolve past violence, like if we all have our basic needs served. And the truth is, I just don't know. It's a weird topic.
Well, I think that you can be less. Like, so even if you say, let's say it was like a socialist or a communist where your social needs are met for the most part, what if that prevented a lot of things, but not all things? I mean, I still think you can have your outcasts,
Yeah.
but if you can be less, because literally in today's times versus 100 years ago, we're way less violent than we used to be. You know what I mean? There's no lynchings, there's no mobs. I mean, yeah, you have your things, but they say that crime in general is like super down compared to years ago throughout history. Like this is the safest times in history
Yeah.
in the U.S. You know, like
It's supposed to be, right?
it's supposed to be. I mean, I feel pretty safe usually. Don't get me wrong, man. I'll get pissed. I'll be so pissed. I'm not religious at all, but I'll be fucking pissed if I die for some stupid ass reason when I walk down the street and I get hit by a fucking bus or somebody shoots me on accident. Fucking A. I'm doing all right in life, man. Like, don't fucking kill me on accident. It's one thing getting killed on purpose, like, oh, you're going to a fight or something. But like, if I get stray bullet or some shit, I'll be so pissed when I'm dead. I'll be so pissed. Like, you motherfucker. Don't get me wrong, I'll be dead. But
You'll be exactly. You'll be dead. So whatever,
Motherfucker.
right?
like, I was doing fucking good. I was starting to be good in life. Like,
Dude, that is just weird. But on that, do you? I don't think I've ever. Do you believe that there's something after?
nah, I don't. No.
Yeah.
0%. I don't, but I do believe that just being part of the universe itself is something. So it's not like something significant as far as like a human goes, but I do think that my energy, my particles, I'll dissipate into atoms. Even atoms are not completely 100% timeless,
Right.
but I do think that it's okay to just be part of the universe. And one other thing I think about a lot when it comes to death and life is I think about the time that it took me to become alive, and I say, well, how many years did it take for me to become alive? Well, billions of years, right? Did I notice that time fly by? Didn't notice it at all. Now, when I die, I feel like the same thing, same concept. Like billions of years might pass, even if the universe does repeat itself after quadrillions and quadrillions and quadrillions of years. That time that passes before it replicates me again exactly, if it ever does, I won't know that time passed.
Yeah.
So time is literally not a thing in my equation. So if I happen to be reborn again one day, that'd be fucking great. But
Yeah, but you would not. It would not be you.
I don't know. Would it?
Yeah. I mean, you're assuming that there's no cosmic energy or anything. You're just talking the law of probability, right? Like if the universe is big enough, eventually you will repeat this conversation will repeat again in 1,000 years. This whole chemical reaction, everything that we're doing right now will repeat. But it's not us. It's just
True. True. And I don't even necessarily think that would happen. I also think that the arrangement of atoms in my body, which might be arbitrarily, might not be, but just because it's like that doesn't mean that if they're part of the fertilizer and the grass and the greens, that doesn't mean I'm nothing. I never got a response back from when I talked to that rock and said, "How do you feel, rock?" Right? So when I die and all my shit is just like nothing,
yeah.
just because as a human I can't talk to that rock doesn't mean that rock's not feeling fucking great. You know what I mean?
No, it's granted,
Yeah.
granted.
Pure speculation.
Yeah, no, it's a it is speculation, and that is the beauty of it, right? Like no one knows. I do think that I don't think that there's anything. I think the universe was here before us, and it will be here after us, and that's that. Um, I would like before I like just to see. I don't believe in religion or anything, man. But man, I would love to see like extraterrestrial life. I know that there's gotta be some of that here. Like I don't know. Same thing. I don't know, but I would love to know more about that. Like really know, like, and I know that if there really is some here, there's a reason why it's hidden or why the people that do know don't say it. So we'll probably never get to. But wouldn't that be something? Like I mean, I just fuck man.
Yeah, yeah. Carl Sagan is always a fucking hero of mine. Gotta love
Yeah.
Carl Sagan and shit. Extraterrestrial life could be what we see in the ocean. It could be what we have on Earth. It could be every single species that's not a human. Like,
Absolutely.
how the hell do we know? We suck. We suck at communication because we have not been able to figure out anybody's communication except for humans for the most part.
Yeah.
Like of all species, we've only been able to really try to hit up our own species.
Yeah, I guess bees and dolphins have like complex, like like for sure languages. Maybe not like hi, how are you, but they definitely communicate, and we just don't like humans cannot really decipher them. And
We
I think
think that, and we think that humans are like we are intelligent when it comes to science and engineering and some communication, but plants and trees and bacteria and like things that have been alive and part of evolution for a lot longer than humans. Like humans are big. Like once that nuclear bomb goes off, like the cockroaches are still gonna go on. Like they'd be like, yeah, all that engineering did you what? Because we're still alive and you're not. Like
yep,
who's really the fucking one that was smarter than the other?
yep,
You know what I mean?
I do.
Pretty gnarly.
It is, dude. Well, dude, I think I'm gonna
Yeah.
call it quits. I have to wake up like at 6, so this gives me a solid 7 hours, I think.
Yeah. Well, we'll try to summarize next time,
Yeah, yeah.
as
Dude,
always.
it's a good one, and we haven't done it in a while. I'm glad that we did it we always say this, but I think we got it done. Dude, this setup was perfect. Like the image quality was great. The content was good. The audio is fantastic. I don't have the. I know I'm not gonna get the reverb because I'm using the other microphone, so I don't have that other one, and that we don't. I won't have to do any editing, so we should definitely do it more often, man. I think that it's worth. It could be just as simple as doing this and streaming it live, and done deal.
Yeah, we should definitely get back onto it.
Yeah,
Let's get back to it.
sounds good.
All right, man.
All right.
All right.
Good talking to
See
you, bro.
you
Later.
later.
It already started, so whatever.